Hi, my name is Landon Stultz. I'm in the Computer Science Course 110 Internet course, and today I'm going to be going over Checkpoint 3, the Internet. My group is myself, Landon Stultz, there's Mr. Shaw, and Mr. Raphael as well. I'm going to start off talking about the origins of the Internet. The Internet originated in the U.S. due to the need to keep up with the Soviets in the technology race. The Soviets launched the USS Sputnik, and due to the need to keep up with technology, we developed an agency known as ARPA, the Advanced Research Projects Agency. In 1969, ARPANET was created for communications between Stanford Research Institute, UCLA, University of Utah, and University of California, Santa Barbara. And then in 1985, the National Science Foundation connected mainframe computers with the local area networks, and this connecting of two or more networks is known as an internetwork. As that internetwork grew, it later became just to be known as the Internet. Today there are more than 500 million nodes with more than 2 billion users of the Internet. We handle over 1 billion gigs worth of data transfer daily. The Internet is not controlled or owned by any individual person or government or corporation. Instead, it's handled over by what we know as network service providers. Network service providers use a series of high-capacity communication links and routers, and these access points allow communications between network service providers. How most users get on the Internet was with an Internet service provider, and they provide access to the network service providers for the user and maintains the equipment necessary to provide that access. They also run different webmail servers, instant messaging, stream video, things of that nature for the user, more of a convenience services. The way we get onto the Internet is how we have access to our Internet service providers are things called modems. Modem is the user's linkage to the Internet service provider, and it converts data to be transferred from the users to the network. Our basic diagram is seen below. You have multiple computers. This estimates similar to that of a home network. You have two different computers that communicate to a router, and that router then communicates to a modem and allows you to have access to the Internet. A common mode for data transfer is what we call TCP, or Transmission Control Protocol, and that's what creates the connections and exchanges of packets of data. Where those packets are addressed to is known as your IP, Internet Protocol, and that's your individual user's unique address associated with the data. The combination is the primary method for Internet message communication, and the reason for that is because of it's number one, free, and it's easy to implement. When we're referring to Internet speeds, there's several different terminology. You have latent speed, number one, which is the time it takes for speed to travel from point A to point B back to point A. And then you have what's called a ping, and that's from one IP address to get to another IP address and then come back with a response, and that's ping time. You have connection speeds that range anywhere from 56 kilobytes per second on a dial-up connection all the way to 10 megabytes per second for a high-speed connection. If you're curious on what the speed of your individual network connection is, you can go to www.speedtest.net, and that's going to be able to test your computer's upstream and downstream speeds. Generally, your upstream speed is not equal to your downstream speed. That's usually most common symmetric. It's called a symmetric connection, and that's between usually servers. Your asymmetric connection, where those upstream and downstream speeds differ, are your typical user connections. Cell phones and other mobile devices and how they access the Internet. They do it through methods of things like Wi-Fi, mobile broadband service, satellite portable services, and mobile Internet access. Wi-Fi now is used in many homes and many public areas. Hotels, restaurants, just about anywhere you can almost get a Wi-Fi connection nowadays. And you have multiple options when you choose for your Wi-Fi network. You can have open access, which is your most public areas where anyone's allowed access to it. And then you have restricted access using passwords encrypted, and a lot of times those require service plans or some sort of fee associated with them. If you were looking for a Wi-Fi access near you, you can visit www.y-fi.jiwire.com. There's also a new technology out known as WiMAX. WiMAX is a way for mobile modems that can be accessed anywhere in the range of a tower, similar to that of a cell phone connection, except it's using the internet. It's limited availability right now because it's a new technology, but that's an up-and-coming thing that's going to be available. There's also the availability of portable satellite services. They're available for people that are in secluded areas that don't have access to the normal means. This is more out of the normal because it's a little bit more expensive and it requires a relatively maintained position for usage. We're moving on to cellular broadband service and how cell phones connect to the internet and how it's varied over the years. Cell phone connections started off with first generation 1G was an analog server, which was slower than your typical dial-up connection. As it grew, second generation of cell phone broadband service went to the digital age and moved to digital, which allowed for things like text messaging. As technology grew, we went to a third generation, which is most commonly used today, which is used for voice and data transfer, and it ranges anywhere from 200 kilobytes per second to 5 megs per second. And new in recent years, starting probably in the last 3 years, is fourth generation service, which allows for anywhere from 100 megs if you're on a mobile, if you're moving about, and if you're stationary, you can even get up to a gig per second data transfer. Here's a list of our bibliography and all the references that we use, and I hope you enjoyed and learned something about the internet from this presentation. Thank you very much.